What does it mean to have emotional intelligence? I'm honestly not sure at this point because every time I hear the phrase, it's in an entirely different context with a meaning that's seemingly different. If we look it up, it's described as the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your own emotions as well as the emotions of others. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, at a glance, I can't really understand why that's an important thing to index on for a number of reasons. Does this deserve the moral weight that people give it? Unlike deontology, virtue ethics, or other moral frameworks, when we think about emotional intelligence, it doesn't really tell you what's good. It does not tell you what is just, what is courageous, what is owed, or what principles should govern your action. At most, it gives you information about emotional states. And to be quite frank, if you were to adhere to your principles strictly, there should be quite a few times where your emotions are disregarded entirely in service of what you believe in. Second, while we obviously have the ability to infer other people's emotions, that ability is incredibly limited, interpretive, and shaped heavily by projection. We're not really seeing another person clearly. We're seeing what is our theory of them. Obviously, as you interact with others, you develop the ability to better understand how they respond to certain stimuli. And this is an important trait to have as a person in life, relationships, and business. But I do question whether or not you should let this, understanding of people change what you do and how you do things when dealing with matters of principle. Emotional intelligence may change the way you communicate a principle, but I'm not convinced it should determine whether or not you stand by the principle in the first place. Third, in practice, emotional intelligence often seems to be attributed extremely unevenly. If people already like you, your restraint becomes maturity. Now, if they dislike you, your restraint becomes coldness. If they agree with you, your sensitivity becomes empathy. If they disagree with you, your firmness becomes emotional incompetence. Think about that. So, with that in mind, the term becomes less of a real standard and less of a real analysis and more of a socially approved aesthetic. So, what's the use? When I examine ideas, I'm trying to see whether or not something like this would be useful to me in search of truth, right? And for the most part, I'm only seeing this as a supporting idea or a sort of gadget. All in all, I wonder if this is yet another way we use like moral aesthetics or therapeutic language as a way to avoid moving closer to moral clarity and moving as close to it as we possibly can. I can really see how this type of thinking would allow an increasing degree of moral relativism and honestly cowardice when it comes to standing firmly within a belief system. But again, who am I?